Hey, my name is Xavier Caffrey, and I managed to scale my agency to, at some point, 100K per month. And I want to share with you not necessarily how to get there, although I will make videos about this in the future. Right now, for this video, I really want to talk about the harsh factors about reaching a crazy milestone like that. Um, Okay, so the first one is I actually think really underrated. That's really important to talk about. If you want to grow your business to 100K per month, especially like an agency, you're going to burn bridges, and you trying to block that or shy away from that fact, you're gonna waste your time and everyone's time. And let me explain to you why this happens for majority of you watching this video. So my journey, for example, from 0 to 20K. Oh my God, I burnt a lot of bridges because I was still new to this world of agency, business, fulfillment, and things like that, right? And I think the faster you're okay accepting the fact that you will burn bridges, the better it is. Obviously, I just want to be very clear that when you do engage with someone professionally as an agency, be very upfront and clear about expectations, about your experience. I'm not a big fan of lying to just make money. I think you can use even your weaknesses that you perceive as weaknesses as your strength. So for example, if you're starting new and you don't have a lot of experience, that might sound like a weakness to you, but the strength is the fact that you can say, look, I'm new, so I'm more invested in this. I'm willing to spend more time on this. I want to work with you. I'm only taking on 3 clients because I'm new. These are things that I can tell you from someone who's been doing this for 4 years. These are things that there are clients out there that are really looking for someone to say stuff like that. But just be aware that because you're new, there's a chance you're going to mess up, not just from a client fulfillment perspective, but even from a client communication perspective, or you might forget to have mentioned something in the contract and now you have to do it or you don't have to do it. It's going to be a mess. But the good news that I want to share with you is the longer you go with your journey, the more capital you have to spend as well, because capital allows you to learn faster, hire people, and things like that, the less mistakes you're going to make. Okay. The second point, and it's related to the third point, so I might like talk about them both together here, is that you can't hire your way out of bad systems. So if you're lucky enough to build a business or an agency is a business where you can scale it to a point where it's making 100K and in a really fast period of time. So I got to the 100K mark in like 2 years, or 2.5 years really. The problem is if you find an offer that works. So I was in a niche that really worked for me. I was essentially selling clay implementation retainers. But the problem is I was so focused on the money that I did not focus on the infrastructure of the business. And I got to pay the heavy, heavy price later on in my career, which I'm still kind of actually going through it right now. And I still feel the consequences of that. So if you're starting off right now or you're in the early journey, so for me, an early journey is if you're still making 20K or less, then please invest in systems, invest in learning about your process. And the question I would want you to ask yourself for your agency, for your business, for your contracting work, whatever it is, can the current system I have, can it scale? As in, if right now you are working on 5 accounts, 5 clients, and it's going really well, if tomorrow I snap my fingers and I give you 10 more clients, so we just 3 extra clients, you went from 5 to 15, will things break? And if deep down you know things will break, this better be one of the top things you fix, because obviously your goal is you want to scale, you want to make more money, you just want more, right? Otherwise, I don't think you'd be playing this entrepreneurship game. But that bad system, oh my God, some of the worst times of my life, no exaggeration, is seeing my system break down and there's nothing I can do about it. And what I want to emphasize here, the sentence, because it says can't hire your way out of bad systems. That's another mistake I made, is that my team was over bloated. I had too many employees because in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, I'm panicking. This is breaking down. You know what I need to do? Hire more people. Awful. You're awful because you're not fixing the problem, and from a moral standpoint, you're fucking up someone's life because you're just hiring someone in your mind. This person's not a real person. This person is a duct tape to my problem, and eventually, when you know deep down things are gonna fall apart, you're going to fire them or you're going to replace them. But for that person, this job is everything for them. So cannot recommend enough, like really invest in good systems. And kind of a shameless plug here, but if you join my community, it's completely for free. I talk about everything there. I share more details about what I think makes a good system, what I think, more details about the mistakes you should avoid from hiring or even working by yourself with clients. So it's the first link down below. So if you want to join it completely for free, literally, I don't charge you anything in that community for now. The third point is everyone is replaceable. Everyone. Now, this is a bit contradicting to the point I just made when I mentioned about the morality, but just stay with me and I promise you this will make sense. You do have a duty to, when you're scaling an agency like this, to obviously take care of your people. However, you have to understand, we live in a world where everyone's looking out for themselves. That is the harsh truth that if no one told you this before, I'm happy that I'm the first one to tell you this, but everyone's looking out for themselves. Your favorite employee that you think is a rock star is probably taking interviews with other companies because other companies are willing to offer him more money. And that's fine because you need to understand that everyone's replaceable. I went through this stage. One of my favorite people I ever worked with, we're still really good friends, by the way. His name's Alex. He went on to start his agency. At the time when he told me that he's leaving, I freaked out. I remember I did not react well at all. I was yelling at him. I was yelling at everyone. I was just like angry because I'm like, how could you leave? Why would you leave? Blah, blah, blah. Obviously, I learned my reaction was really bad. I'm so happy for him, his agency, and that he's growing as a person. But the really important lesson I learned also afterwards is that I was able to replace Alex. And this is not a knock on Alex at all. If anything, if Alex was sitting right next to me, he would probably say the same thing about his employees right now. It's just that is the nature of the game, especially if, and that's why I drew an arrow here, if you fix your systems, right? Like at the point, it's funny also I'm saying this because at the point my systems weren't even that good, but they were much better than what they were before. And then if you have a really good system, then it makes it so that one of the hardest things about running this business, which is hiring and churn from your employee side, it makes that problem shrink, right? So that's why it's so important to invest in systems, because if you run an agency, there's no freaking way that within a year, 2 years, you're going to maintain the same people. Like people will want to leave, new opportunities will arise, and you need to be okay with that. Like that's just the nature of the game. Okay. The other really important lesson also I want to share with you is that if you're not growing, you are dying. Trust me when I say this, please trust me when I say this, you're better off thinking like this than being in the opposite mindset of like, I'm satisfied with what I have. Okay, listen, being satisfied with what you have in this field, in this game, it's like poison. No one knows this better than me. I got to a point where when I reached 100K, I remember when I saw, oh my God, we made $100,000 this month, I felt satisfied. The cat is out of the bag. I'll be honest. I felt satisfied. I come from nothing. I grew up really poor. I'm like 100K. Why would I need more? Right? The problem when you think like that is you're basically getting your foot off the gas pedal. And the moment as a founder, as the person that's leading the ship, your foot is off the gas pedal, everything is going to crash and burn like this chart right here. Okay. It's just going to happen. So you want to be in an abundance mindset, in the fact that not just an abundance mindset, maybe a better word or a better way to explain this is it's never enough. And I'm not trying to say this in a toxic way where like, if you make 100K, you need to make 200, 300, 400. It's not just for the sake of the number. It's more so about, and as cliche as this sounds, it's for the journey itself. Like I really hope you watching this, at least one of you will experience making 100K in a month or 20K, 30K, whatever amount that seems to be extremely big for you. For me, that amount was 83K because that means I have $1 million business. So when I exceeded that and I hit 100K, it broke my brain because I wasn't thinking bigger. I wasn't allowing myself to think bigger as well. So if you want to be in this journey, these numbers that seem intimidating to you got to keep pushing the goalpost forever. Because what I realize now that I'm at this point, right, like where I made 100K and then I dipped all the way down to 40K, back to 60, back to 40. At some point, I was even at 30K. I'm saying this like as if that's a bad number. 30K is a lot of money. I'm very, very grateful. But the idea here is that if you want to be in this industry, in this game, and now I'm talking about entrepreneurship, not just agency. if you're not growing, you're dying. So kind of like a sub lesson in there is please be meticulous with your attribution and your growth. Know where the money is coming from. Know how much money might come in the next month. So forecast your deal. So be very meticulous with your CRM. These kind of like boring tasks that you have to do where you're not making money, but you're tracking the money you're making, money you will make, money you're losing. Why? All of this stuff matters a lot. Like if one thing maybe I do actually regret is there was a time where I definitely had money to spend on a fractional CFO, and I really regret not doing that. I didn't want to spend money on them because I felt like it was a waste of money. But now, of course, hindsight is 2020. But now when I look back at it, his insight, his expertise, I think would have been really valuable. And I think having someone to call me out on the fact that like, hey, you made 100K last month, but this month you made, I don't know, I think we dipped actually quite fast, like 75K. What's going on? This is not a normal dip. How can we make sure to get it back on top? These kind of things, really important. So just know this, if you're not growing, you're dying, and the alarms should be on, and that's fine. You're in a game that is filled with stress. This is what you signed up for. Maybe switch the word of stress with excitement. I think that's better. And you're going to be a lot better off and happier. Okay. Um, Now, the last point I'll make in this video, which honestly, this video could be like 7 hours long, but for today, I want you to digest these lessons. And again, I just hope at least one of you gets value out of this. Saying no is going to save your business. And oh my God, that is the hardest lesson to learn. And even me right now, as someone who's been doing this for four years, I'm still struggling with this because your brain, especially, and I think kind of like a caveat, I think if you come from a similar background to me where you grew up with nothing, then you're conditioned to want to say yes to everything. Like when I was coming up in this world, I needed a job. So I worked the worst jobs you can think of, because I didn't say no. Like I needed the money. So if someone said, Xavier, I have a job for you. Yes. I didn't even know what it was. I'm like, I'm doing it. How much money? I don't care. Just give me money. I need money. So this conditioning doesn't leave you. And I'm assuming that a lot of you watching this video, just by how the world works, a lot of you don't come from money, right? The majority of people don't come from money. But this is so hard to reverse your conditioning that this life has forced you to for many, many years. And the reason why I want to explain to you saying no is so important, because saying no, you sacrifice today for a better tomorrow, essentially. And the problem of saying yes all the time is, okay, sure, you'll make a lot of money in the short term, but in the long term, you're going to lose quite a lot. So for example, if I scroll back up here, it kind of relates to the hiring your way out of bad systems and everyone's replaceable point that I made earlier. When you say yes to hiring people, when you say yes to more revenue, even though you have bad systems, uh, you're basically nuking your business. You're just not nuking it today. It's going to get nuked in a couple of months. Again, you have the choice to either believe me or not, but watch other people that talk about business. Call your uncle that has a business. Literally, I don't know, anyone that has a successful business will tell you this lesson. Saying no is extremely valuable. And it's also extremely valuable because it evokes to the other people that you're talking to, as in like potential clients, potential employees, potential partners, that you have a standard. And having a standard is a very powerful way to build up reputation. If you're the guy that says yes to everything, people will not respect you. If you're the guy that says no, and I can tell you this from experience, there are times where I'll say no to a client or potential client, and because I did that, I can see their face change on the call. They're like, wow, like this guy isn't here trying to make quick money out of me. And what ends up happening, I've been referred actually from potential clients to clients that fit my ideal customer profile, fit my requirements for the time. And they wouldn't have done that if I said yes to them. Because then you know what would have happened? Let's scroll back up. I would have burnt the bridge with them. Like the reason why you see less X's here, a big reason actually is because I learned to say no more and more often. And it's very scary to say no. And my advice for you is, in order to get to the point where you can say no, two things I want you to really take into consideration is be liquid, like have a chunk of money sitting aside where if I say no for the next like couple of months, I'm not making as much money as I should in the short term, but I don't have the anxiety of having to say yes because I have money sitting in my accounts, right? Like that's super, super important. And the other thing I want you to keep in mind is reduce your spendage, as in when you start making more money, because again, this video we're talking about like, scaling to 100K. So when you start making more money, because you're a human, it's going to be very common for you to want to elevate your life. But sometimes you take it too far, as in like, you don't really need to be spending $3,000 per month on an apartment. You don't. You don't need to be buying the most expensive shoes, expensive pants. You don't need to be going out every weekend. You don't need to pay for the bill on the behalf of everyone because you want to feel good about yourself. Because when you do that, you burn more money. And when you burn more money, you then feel like you have to say yes. And when you have to say yes, you are sacrificing building a long-term successful business. So your personal life actually plays obviously a big part into your business, which is not something that I feel like people discuss enough, and maybe it should be a topic for a future video. But for now, I think these 5 points, hopefully you digest them. Hopefully they make sense. If you made it to the end of the video, I honestly really appreciate you choosing to invest in my video than all the other videos that exist out there. As I mentioned earlier in the video, if you want to have more access to these kind of lessons, you want also actionable items and even resources that I give away for free. A lot of the things I do are around Cloud Code, AI related. Join my school community. It's completely for free. It's a really big focus of mine this year. I really want to help out more people out there. I want to have more conversations with people that I feel like are a bit similar to me. I want to feel like I belong to the community and I want to start it. Okay. So if you want to join us, the link is down below completely for free for now. I want to be very transparent. At some point, I will probably charge money for it. But for now, it's completely for free. I just really want to earn your trust. I want to build a better reputation online and let people in on what it's like to build a business online and how to thrive, I guess, in this new age that we live in. If you found this video helpful, also leave a comment down below, like the video. It really helps push it out to more people. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care.